briar. The reason, I just went over the reasons that they use it. It's dense, it's fire resistant, but most importantly, it's absorbent. And that's why you want to rest your pipes after you smoke it a few times. You don't want to use the same pipe bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl, day after day after day. You want to have a rotation. That way your briar gets a chance to dry out. But over the years of smoking, and the years of use, those oils and resins from your tobacco leaches into the wood, and it leaves remaining flavor left over inside the wood. So what we're going to do now that we've got the big chunks of gunk out is we're going to run a retort through this thing, or we're going to run this thing with a retort, however you want to say it. We're going to use a retort and clean the hell out of it. We're going to get all those old nasty ghosts out of there, and when we're done, the first smoke off of this pipe after we're finished should be just fresh and clean and taste just like the tobacco you're smoking, and not what the guy smoked through this thing for the last 40 years or whatever it is. So, safety third, since we're going to be playing with fire, open flame, flammable liquids, put on these safety, I can't use these, cheaters, they're in the way. Okay, we'll use these and you just won't be able to see my eyes. Safety glasses, just in case. You're holding glass over a flame. It is tempered glass, or borosilicate glass, so it'll take the heat. But just in case, you only got two eyes and you don't want to lose either one of them. And since we're using an open flame with a flammable liquid, we're going to have a fire extinguisher handy. I don't recommend you do this in the house. I would call this a summertime back porch activity. But if you've got a shop area like I do, use your better judgment. Keep a fire extinguisher at hand just in case. I did actually set my bench on fire once, and I had to scramble around and get it put out. So, word to the wise. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little test tube. I got a smaller container of Everclear here, and we're going to put some Everclear right here in this test tube. We'll fill it up about like that. You can see where the liquid level is. And I've got the surgical rubber tubing over the end of my pipe. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this aside. I've got a little place to rest it back there. And I'm going to try to adjust the camera here so you guys can see what I'm doing, because this is kind of a neat process if you've never seen it. So I'm going to find my lighter, wherever it may be. There it is. I'll light up this burner. Let's see, where are your eyes, folks? Well, I'm going to have to adjust this a little bit. Sorry for the weird camera motion. Okay, there's my alcohol burner. You can see the flame right there. I've got my test tube in its holder. Put the cork in there. And one thing I forgot to mention that you want to do is take a cotton ball like so and stuff it right here in the bowl. Because what we're going to do is essentially we're going to run alcohol vapor up through this pipe, and you can see here that that Everclear is nice and clear. There we go, get you on the camera there. And we're just going to hold this here over the flame. I'm burning denatured alcohol in the burner, and it will heat up and boil this Everclear, and as it boils, the hot vapor will go up through the surgical tubing and up in through the pipe, and then I'll pull it off the flame and we'll let the vapor condense and drain back down, and we'll repeat the process over and over again. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the alcohol in my test tube is starting to heat up. You can see it moving around a little bit. Now it's going to, once it reaches the boiling point, it's going to gurgle and bubble, and it'll boil pretty violently. And we're just about to that point. I can feel it boiling down there at the bottom. It'll cough and sputter, and really start to go. There we go. Got a nice rolling boil in the alcohol. And what I'm doing over here, where you probably can't see it off camera back here, is I'm waiting to see alcohol vapor coming up out of the end of that bowl. Okay, so we boil and boil and boil, and as soon as I feel the vapor start coming up through this cotton ball, which it'll get here in a moment, I'll be able to feel the heat. But once I start getting vapor up through here, I'm going to take it off the flame and turn the pipe up and let that alcohol condense, and you'll see the magic happen. Now, hopefully I can get these videos edited down and together and not make you guys have to sit through video after video after video of long drawn out processes. And we're boiling pretty good. Still not seeing the vapor up here at the bowl just yet, but it won't be long. It takes about a minute or two, and once it starts, it seems to go pretty quick. You can see we've got a nice boil going there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this up. Let's see. Now you can see, there we go. You see what happened there? I turned the pipe up and let that condense. And that is after I had the pipe clean enough that pipe cleaners were coming out clean. So it's just a matter of boil, steam, condense, repeat. And I'll do this 4 or 5 times with this vial of alcohol, and then I'll change, and this will get darker and darker. But after a few runs like this, if the pipe's really dirty like this one was starting out, I really expect this alcohol to turn almost black. Okay, now we've got vapor coming out there real good. Okay. But this process, putting the hot alcohol vapor up there, will dissolve all the oils and resins that have accumulated in the pipe over the years, and all the flavors that they've left behind from various tobaccos and everything over the years will magically be removed from the pipe and placed into the alcohol, and we'll dump that and get rid of it. Alright, that's about as far as I'm going to go. You can see that started out completely clear, and after just a few runs up through that pipe, it's turned into this muddy mess. So I'm going to do that a few more times. I'm going to change alcohol, do it a few more times, and when it comes out clear, I'll make another video and we'll go over getting this thing cleaned up and looking good and ready to smoke. So you guys, hey guys, Jim here again. I have finished with the retort. I've swabbed everything out again with pipe cleaners dipped in Everclear. After you run the retort, you're going to, all the big heavy deposits of tar and things are going to loosen up. You want to get your brushes back out after the initial retort. After you've run a couple of vials of Everclear through it, scrub the shank out real good again with your shank brushes and pipe cleaners, and then put it back together. 1 or 2 more test tubes full. You'll see them come out almost clear, maybe just slightly yellow. If it's just barely changed in color, that's good enough. You've gotten everything out of it that you're going to get. So here's our pipe. See, And damn it, I am really sorry about the lighting in here. I just cannot seem to find a happy medium. Either I'm washed out, the pipe's washed out, or blacked out. Anyway, here's our pipe. Let me move you over here, see if we can help this out at all. Okay, here's our pipe. Alright, we've got the rim char cleaned up mostly. We've got most of the rim char cleaned up on it. I'm gonna come over here to this side of the shop. Hopefully this it's not much better. I'm smoking my Tracy Mincer Canadian with some meat pie, and we're back to our grungiest of grungy pipe restorations here. So this is the little guy. I'm gonna step outside here into the natural light and see if we can't do just a little bit better with what we've got going on here. Okay, I'll set you down here on the chopping block by the axe. Well, I was doing good until I tipped you up. Okay, here we are, sitting down in front of the shop. Set this guy down. So here is our little Medico briar that we've retorted. Okay, we've gotten everything cleaned out inside. If you look, it's nice and shiny. Inside there's no more tobacco residue. Inside the shank's nice and clean. My hands are filthy because it's all on me. You can see we've still got some deposits here, but the inside of the bowl is nice and clean. It smells like Everclear. There is no hint of tobacco smell left in this thing. Either end. It's actually clean enough now you could fire this thing up and smoke it, and you'd be good to go. But who wants to smoke a pipe that still looks like crap? So let's go back in. We're going to clean this rim up a little bit, and we're going to see if we can't make this thing look nice. So I'm going to pause you here, go back into the shop, and I'm going to try to do something with my lighting again. Can't make any promises because my lighting's not set up to film, it's set up to work. So I'm going to leave the chickens out here to do what chickens do, and I'm going to go back in there and get set up, and we're going to see about making this thing look nice. Alright, we're back inside now. I told you earlier, when you were using the alcohol, to be very careful not to get it on the outside of the pipe because it would eat up the stain. And that's true. You don't want the alcohol to sit on the stain because it will ruin it. But what I've done is I've got this cotton ball that I've sloshed with some Everclear, and I'm just going to wipe down the outside of this pipe and get the grime off of it. Okay, and I'm going right over the stain and everything, just like I told you not to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it real quick like that, and as soon as I wipe it off like so, oop, crap, attack of the paper towel. I'm going to come back here with some paper towel and wipe all the alcohol off of the outside of it before it has a chance to really do any damage. Now you probably can't see, but there you go. You got all the tape gunk off of it. You can see it's got a little bit of shine, but it's still satiny. The stem's really not oxidized, and there's not really any chatter to speak of, so I'm not going to go too crazy on it. But what I am going to do is, you can see the top right here. We've got the, it's not really rim char so much as it's just deposits. And what we can do is we can take our alcohol or cotton ball here and just wipe the top of that off really well, and that'll kind of soften it and take some of it off. But if you do that too much, you'll take the stain with it. Now that I got the rest of that off, I can see there is a little bit of char, but when it comes to pipe restoration, I've got your best friend right here. This is your best friend right here. This is an assortment of sandpaper, everything from about 150 grit all the way to 2000 grit in various size pieces. And what I'm going to do for the rim, I'm going to take this, which is a piece of 600 grit, and I'm going to take our pipe here. I'm going to see about adjusting you down so you can see where I'm at. Hey, look, there's my belly. Alright. Oops. Got a nice close look at the sandpaper, didn't you? Again, this is... Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the pipe on this stool and this piece of 600 grit paper. I'm just going to kind of clean that top up a little bit. A nice flat surface. Be careful to keep the pipe flat and work it just a little round in circles like so. Check it ever so often. And what you'll come up with is a nicely cleaned up rim with no more of the rim char or anything left on it. This is 600 again, it's just a newer piece. Big circles, keep it flat, and it will flatten that top out very nicely. You can see there, the top rim of our pipe looks nice and clean now. Again, I apologize, I'm not a videographer, and this is not really working out quite as well as I had hoped. Hopefully, you'll get the idea though. So now that we've pretty well taken care of that, what we're going to do is I'm going to take some 800 grit sandpaper and just kind of go over the outside of this bowl, all over. Little piece of 800. And I will do that wet. So what I've got here is I've got just plain old tap water. Spray the pipe a little bit. I'll take my 800 grit sandpaper. We're just going to go over the outside of the whole pipe. Stem, shank, bowl, everywhere. And it's going to get any grunge and oxidation and whatnot off of there. I don't know how old this pipe is, but I'll bet it's probably as old as me. After 4 decades of heavy use and abuse, it's showing its age, just like the rest of us. But, so that cleaned that up real nice. And you see it dulled the stem up a little bit. And it gives us an idea of what we're looking at down here at the bit. Really, overall, it looks pretty good. You can see it, well, you may not be able to. It lightened it up a little bit, but it's all dull right now. I said we were going to do something about that big nasty fill. Well, the first thing I'm going to do about that is I'm going to dig it out of there because I don't like them. So let me get a scribe here. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I've got my scribe. You can pick these up at the auto parts store. If there's a Harbor Freight, all this stuff you can get, you know, cheaper renditions of it at Harbor Freight. So there's our big nasty fill that's not really showing up too good. I'm going to take this hook. I'm just going to get in there and dig that out. I'm not a big fan of fills and pipes, and I want to see just what kind of nastiness it is that we're dealing with. You never know, once you dig it out, you might find a nice bark inclusion or something that actually adds a little character to a pipe. So I'm going to finish digging this out. Should only take me a couple minutes. show you what we've got there. We'll decide what we're going to do with that big gouge. Then we're going to polish this thing up and make it look good, so hang tight. Alright guys, I got that thing dug out. I wouldn't call it, well, it is a pit. It's a pretty big pit. I mean, this was never a great first quality pipe, but if I were to make this pipe, I wouldn't call it a second, or it's more like a third or a fourth. I mean, that fill was huge, and it's fairly deep, but we've still got a lot of wood left, and it'll be a good serviceable smoker. This won't affect its smoking qualities. So I'm going to let you guys decide what we do with that. Are we going to leave that big craggy mess in there and use it as part of the look, or are we going to mix up some epoxy and fill her back in and try to hide it some? You guys let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'm going to put this pipe aside until I hear back from a few of you, and we'll go with the consensus. If you guys want to leave it, we'll dye it up black and leave it. If you want to fill it, we'll fill it and try to make it look like part of the pipe again. Over and out, guys. It's been a pleasure.